Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Wide Family Farm. How's everybody doing out there? Great. I am so glad. Okay. So I got on Facebook just a few seconds ago for the first time this morning, and it was pretty freaking funny. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. Can you see this? Yeah. Here's Carol Baskins. Yeah. She is doing an advertisement for Solitaire Cube, which is a game or something. And I thought that was funny. So I sent that to all my friends because we laugh and joke about Carol Baskins all the time. I don't know where everybody is, they know the time. So, and I'm actually waiting on Tammy. I sent her the link. So we shall see. In the meantime, how's everybody doing? Good? Noon isn't exactly the time of my people either. We stay up late, and when we stay up late, we sleep in. And therefore, I don't get that opportunity, though, with my son, but I don't know. We do have a third person in here, so hello, everybody. I'll just wait for some people to come in, and we'll have Tammy on here, I hope, in a few minutes. You guys don't know, Tammy lives off grid, so she has nothing but her cell phone. So, and yeah, I like your logo there, Yosi. Pretty cool. Pretty dang cool, if you ask me. So, yes, Uncle Al is here. I'm going to message Tammy here in a second, see what's going on. And, yeah. Well, yeah, so we're supposed to be talking about canning and stuff like that today. And I'm just waiting. She's responding to me, so maybe she's just having an issue. So, I don't know. Today is my husband's birthday. So everybody go to my husband's page, or if you have him on Facebook, wish him a happy birthday. Oh, that stinks. Okay. She said it's not letting her in, which is not good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send her another link in case that link is broken. Yeah, it's pretty early. I think it's early everywhere, though. For the first time in a long time, I broadcasted this over Facebook, too. So I'm sending Tammy another link because sometimes the links get broken or they don't work right. Here's another link. Here is another link in case that one didn't work. I'll try it again. But it's good to see everybody this morning. 9 people in the house. Let me know who you are. Hit the thumbs up and come on in. Just waiting on Tammy. That's it. I don't think this show has ever ran this smoothly. I think there's always been some kind of issue, either on her end or mine. It's been kind of crazy. Time for yarn cake. Yeah, that's funny. I don't know about the yarn cake thing. I'm not very good at crocheting. I will work on it and see, but we'll see how that works out. I'm not good at crocheting. So we'll see. If she doesn't come up soon, what I will do is I will invite people up to come on up and hang out for a little while. But yeah. I haven't been canning as of lately, so I haven't canned anything new since my potatoes, but I do have some of the items that I want to can, so I got to, get that underway. Other than that, I haven't really canned anything. I do have some butternut squash and some pumpkins and stuff that I'll probably have to can here before too long. Yes, I also plan on making a lot of soups as well because, um, it gets really cold here and, yeah, that's the only thing that really tastes good when it's super cold. It's some nice hot soup. But yeah. And yes. Gil had a live last night, and it was very fun. We laughed and had a good time, and then we hung out afterwards for quite a long time. I think till like 2 in the morning. Just hang out with the guys, and it was fun. Good time. Chili is good. Yes, I canned a lot of tomato juice, for that reason. And, chili, it can go a long way too, and the more you keep it in the refrigerator, like, the better it gets. So 3 hours. 3 hours what? I don't know what that means. And I'm still waiting. I don't know what's going on with her phone. Said it won't let her in. I wonder if it'll let me send it to her email. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, she's still having issues. So I'm going to send the link to her email. I hate that it did that. Give me 1 second. Just having some technical difficulties. Hey, Ginger Ninja. Force quit that. I'm going to send Tammy the link to her email address, and hopefully she won't have any more issues. I know with StreamYard, if I sent the link through email, people could get it better. So. And, Okay, it's been sent, Tammy. Sorry about this, guys. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me anyway. Just wait a few more minutes. I sent it to her email, and hopefully everything will work out perfect. But the weather here has been perfect. What about you guys? For almost the end of October. Well, not really the end. It's mid-October. The weather here has been amazing. Yes, Uncle Al, I did get your card. I have not done a video on it yet. But yes, I did get a card, and I got 3 balloons in it. It was cute. Thank you, Uncle Al. Not a whole lot. I'm just waiting on Tammy, Ginger Ninja, to come up. She's having issues with the link. So, yeah, it's been nice here. I'm just really, really surprised because typically it's rainy and nasty here this time of year, and you never see the sunlight. Like, you never. It's just like real dark, and you can see the sky like dark blue. It looks like it's gonna snow in any minute, and usually it's really cold, but it hasn't been like that. It's been in the 80s. It's been nice. It's been like 79, 80 every day. It's been beautiful. The garden is still booming. And in fact, if our Amish paste tomatoes didn't have a blight on them this year, I think they would have still produced. I think we would have still had some tomatoes in the garden. And we're just waiting. Yeah, I'm surprised it does, Ginger Ninja. Some of my flowers and stuff are dying off, which is fine because at this time of year I kind of get sick of everything. So, oh, here she is.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Would it be better if I sent it to your email address every time?
It must be because it let me come right in. The other times I was typing it in, it wasn't asking me to allow the camera and the microphone, so it was not letting anything happen.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Full Throttle Junkie. We haven't seen you in a while. Oh, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you so much, Jess. We miss you. I know you've been busy, but we really miss you. So, when you can, come into one of my lives, okay? Because we love you. Thank you so much. Hey, Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us today. We're here with Tammy, the Rebel Canner herself, and we are going to be talking about canning and any questions, basically Q&As today. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can feel free to ask Tammy, and she will answer them for you. Yeah.
I can see them.
But thank you so much, Jess, Full Throttle Junkie. We appreciate you. And he is also a Poop Troop member. Thank you so much.
Hey.
But yeah, so nothing has been going on. I haven't really been canning anything. I do have some frozen items that I would like to can. I have like some ground cherries and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't really have much left in my garden. It's kind of all died off, except for our butternut squash is still going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been given butternut squash by 3 people, so it seems to be a very good year for butternut squash.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah.
My scarlet runner beans have set pods and I'm saving them. I'm hoping the deer leave them alone. I'm going to have seed from them. I'm very excited. They did really well.
Nice. That's
Those
nice.
are the ones I planted like the 1st of September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have beans out there, but I haven't really done much with them. And then I was gonna make some more dilly bean stuff, and I just didn't get around to it. And so my beans have just kind of fallen to the wayside. But I don't really have a whole lot of time anymore. I you know, um this summer has like really I've been busy nonstop. So I'm hoping this winter I can just catch a break, you know? Oh, thank you so much, Ginger Ninja. That's so nice of you. Thank you.
Your number one fan.
Yep, she is my number one fan. We love you, Ginger Ninja. So sweet. But yeah, so I stayed up last night talking to the guys, and oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Stayed up last night talking to the guys till early in the morning, and so I'm a little tired myself. Today is my husband's birthday. So
Happy birthday, Dustin.
yeah, we're not going to be celebrating today, but tomorrow we're going to go out. And we haven't really celebrated our anniversary either. So we're going to kind of do both tomorrow. And I think we're going to go to the casino for a little while and eat there and then, play on the machines a little bit. And that's pretty much it. I think we did that last year too. So
we are creatures of habit.
Yeah. Well, it's just like there's not really a whole lot to do around here. So I mean, we could have planned a vacation or something like that, but it's just like didn't have time, so this is it. We limit ourselves on our funds when we go there though, and we just have a fun for a couple hours and then we come home.
Well, my son lost my key last night as I was getting ready to leave my friend's house, and so we wound up spending the night here because I'm locked out of my house. So I figured I'll stay here till after the live, then we'll go out there and break into the cabin and put a new lock on it. So
Oh no. Yeah.
Not what I want to do today.
No, because that's a pain.
Yeah.
Do you have several doors you need to change the lock on then?
Actually, there's only one door in and one door out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
And the plan today was to finish the roof on the addition and put a door in so that I don't have to go in through. It's a shed door with a hasp latch and then just a deadbolt slide on the inside when I'm in there. So I was actually looking forward to having a real door today. So
yeah,
it'll just be safer when we get the wood stove hooked up to have two different exits separate.
Right.
Yeah. So.
What? Oh, Yosi wants to know what's the weirdest thing that you've ever canned?
Ostrich. Living here in America, that's not something you would think I'd be able to find in the grocery stores. And we had a local grocery store that would freeze their meat after it didn't sell. And they always had ground ostrich because we're in the middle of nowhere and nobody knows what it is. So I canned a lot of ground ostrich at 50 cents a pound because it's just like steak.
Interesting.
Yep.
You said it's just like steak, huh?
It's a red meat. It's more like
That's
beef
so
than
weird.
any other. It's not like a chicken. It really has more of a beef texture when it's ground and I just dumped it in chili. My kids couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, that's so weird.
When it's marked down and frozen, I go up there to that, and this grocery store is closed now, but I go up to that little IGA, and I don't know why they got it in because it never sold. And then I just wait till they clearanced it, and then I go up and buy a whole big freezer full of it, and then can it.
Bake a leg, it depends on your area. She wants to know what the pressure, 10 or 11 for a pressure canner. And it really just depends on your area.
It goes 5 10, and 15. 10 on the weight is the same as 11 on your pressure gauge. So 10 and 11 are the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. You would have to do the math on your areas.
You have to look up your.
I'm removing your area, and I'll tell you why. I don't mind you telling you where you live in Pennsylvania, but please don't put your actual information out there. There is a lot of weirdos out there, and they will try to find you. Yeah. So just please be careful with giving any information about yourself in any chat. But yeah, you'll have to check out your level, your elevation level for your area. I know ours here is like, it's 11 pounds. So yeah.
Yes. Most of the United States, unless you're living at sea level in way southern states or mountain states, it's going to be 10. But again, there are mountains in Pennsylvania, so you just have to look.
Yeah, I'm just watching out for email because I've had a recent series of incidents here, and I'm just trying to keep everybody safe. So do not disclose any information about where you live, even down to the county. I mean, the state level is fine, but don't tell people what county you are from. But yeah, so I forget how we even figured that out. I think we had to research it online and just figure out what our elevation was, and then from there we figured it out. But typically, like, unless you live in Florida, I think is like 5 pounds of pressure or something like that.
Colorado's 15. So
yeah,
if you're anywhere in between, you're usually 10. But there are, again, if you're on the top of a mountain in North Carolina, you might be more.
Yeah. Hey, Abby, thank you for coming in. Bountiful Harvest, Abby, she changed her name from Abby's Life on the Farm to Bountiful Harvest. So if you guys can, head on over there, subscribe to her channel. She changed her name. So, and I have a lot of work to do today to add people. I have like 8 more members that I need to add to my video. So the other night we've had 9. I've gotten 9 over the past few days, 9 members. So I'm really happy about that. And
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot stress enough. I mean, it's safe when you're with the poop troop, but I cannot stress enough to never, ever, ever give your location to anyone. And you know what? It's safer to not even give your phone number to anyone on YouTube. Don't give your phone number, because you think, oh, well, if they call me, I'll just block them. That's not the case. You give your phone number, they can look you up. They can look up your address. They can look up everything about you. So don't even give your phone number, okay? So please be safe out there, guys. Please. I'm planning an awesome giveaway the day before Halloween for my big milestone of my sub count. Awesome. We'll be there. The Poop Troop will 100% support you. That's what we're all about.
I'll be there if I'm in town.
Hey, Howdy Garden. Thank you for coming in. Hey, DaBob. Hey, Citizen Guardian. We love you guys. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, so I don't know. I really want to go to Layman's and stuff. I was hoping that we could do that, but the weather here has been good, so maybe you can still come up and like we can go to Layman's, or maybe even go to Hartville or something, and like eat at Hartville Kitchen. And
I'm still planning it. I just got to get my roof on.
Yeah,
it seems like it's one thing after another. But I was standing in the lean-to, getting a shower by standing underneath the roof, so it had to go.
Yeah, I understand. So far, I have some flower seeds and herbs for the giveaway. Awesome. Thank you, Citizen Guardian. I'll let them know that you said happy birthday. I think right now the biggest gift that I could give them is to let them sleep. because he worked all night. Like,
Oh.
yeah. So, anybody have any questions for Tammy about canning other than the weight and the pressure and stuff like that? Basically, you have to look that kind of stuff up yourself. Don't follow what's in the books, because a lot of times what's in the books, they'll tell you the pressure or whatever, and it's not right for your area.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, a lot of people get confused because the gauge weights in books are not the same as the weighted time. And that's a very common thing. They're like, how do I get 11 with my weight? Well, you don't. It's 10.
Yep. But yeah, so glad that you were able to get on, because I worry about that sometimes. I'm like, the length sometimes with melon is not very good.
And I don't know if it was something my son did when he likes to kind of play with my settings, and he thinks he'll get better gaming experience if he shuts off all my apps. And so I'm going into the settings and making sure everything's turned on. And I thought I had everything turned on. I did have everything turned on, but Melon wasn't asking permission. So then it wasn't letting me load my video.
Yeah. Would he benefit from having his own phone? And maybe like, no.
He has his own iPhone, my old model, and he won't use it.
Interesting.
Yeah. It only works on Wi-Fi, but the things he does, he only needs Wi-Fi for. He doesn't make phone calls.
Right.
So it does everything this one does, and he was using it when it was mine till I upgraded to this one. So I thought, oh, it'll be fine. Nope, he doesn't even remember to charge it. He won't use it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I was given
special.
a really, really old quart-sized jars from an elderly lady. As long as I look them over and wash them, are they still good to use?
Absolutely.
No.
Run your. I gotta kind of trying to prop it up so I don't have to hold it. Run your finger along the rim, because even though you're looking, feeling is going to pick up some of those nicks you can't see. And as long as it feels smooth to your touch, it's going to be okay to use.
Yep, and they actually say the older jars are better. I don't know how true that is, but they say like the glass and stuff in them is better and stuff like that. So
they're heavier, they're thicker. They have a thicker wall glass.
why is that? Like they just cheapened out as the years gone by? Like
less materials means more profit. Yeah. And like I did a video about the Hoosier Dunes, and they wiped out an entire sand dune. They can't make the blue glass jars anymore because they took the entire sand dune. It's gone. It's no longer there. It's flat land.
Oh my God.
And it was like 7 stories high. And they literally yeah. It's gone.
Wow.
So they can't they can kind of replicate it, but the mineral content is not exactly the same. So, there's that factor too, is where are they getting their glass from? Their sand to make glass from.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrible. That makes me sick to my stomach, because why mine something out of existence?
Yeah, and most dunes are protected. So, they've got to go to gravel pits and places like that to mine the sand. It's not just walk up and load it onto train cars like it was with a shovel.
Yeah.
So.
That's very, very interesting. I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? That's something you don't think about. I think about that with gemstones, obviously, and stuff like that, but not something as like simple as glass. You don't think about that. And I was just telling my husband the other day, it makes me mad that they don't recycle glass like they used to, because I prefer to have stuff out of glass anyway. So if they make stuff out of glass, like your milk jugs and your drinks and stuff like that, if they all made that out of glass, like, you know, I I think it would be better for the environment, you think, because, you just recycle that.
Yeah,
No
they
big
just rinse
deal.
it out, sanitize it, and use it again.
Yeah.
But we've had such a disposable society for so long. It's hard for some people to grasp that.
Yeah. Yosi says the changes between heat and cold can crack the jars. Yes. You have to be very careful.
Yep. I was I had my mom's Pyrex pans, and I've had two bad experiences with Pyrex. I will never own brown Pyrex ever again. I am lucky to be alive because of thermal shock. I set it on a hot pad, walked out of my galley kitchen that we had a rental apartment, and it was literally 4 foot wide and 5 foot long. I walked out of there, it shattered, it put glass in the wall. So yes, and it was just because I had the kitchen window open.
Wow.
And I had another experience with my mother's white glass Pyrex, which I love those. I will own those. But we pulled it out of the oven, sat it down, and my daughter's friend thought it would be a good idea to open the garage door to cool off the kitchen. And she no sooner opened that than it cracked in 3 pieces. Now, it didn't go flying, but it cracked in 3 places. So that's
Wow.
why when you can, you really need to put towels down on your countertop. It doesn't matter what material your countertop is. Put your towels down. Make sure your windows are closed, your doors are closed. People aren't coming and going in winter. And yeah, you have to be very careful. Thermal shock is a very real problem with glass.
Yeah, that's not good. Hey, Howie, thank you for coming in. And I saw that you come in. And hey, Fishes, thank you so much for being here. I get it. It's no big deal. If you're sick, I get it. Um, man, yeah, I never had that happen to me. But I've heard of, cases, and I had one jar break. Hey, LP, thanks for coming in. Um, I had one instance where the jar broke in my water bath, and I should have known better. The bottom half of it looked, because they were older jars, and sometimes you can tell there's like a ring around the bottom, and I knew better. I knew better than to put them in there. I shouldn't have did it.
Yeah, my mom was always like, do not bang your jars against the pot you're cooking in, and don't bang your jars against each other when you put them in, because just that little bit of um, force against them can cause a hairline crack, and then they'll break in the canner.
Yeah, that's not good. Hedgehog, thank you for coming in. And I don't know if I said hi to you, but thank you so much for being here. I've never seen LP before, so thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. But yeah, we're just talking about, it's a cute questions and answers kind of day here at White Family Farm. And we're just answering questions about canning. So if you have any questions that you want to ask Tammy, feel free to ask. Wear a shield when canning, as anyone could have dropped the box of jars.
I do have glasses on, so I don't worry about wearing safety glasses. It's not something that's really recommended. Yes, but they could have been dropped before you got them. But usually
Mm-hmm.
that'll break in the canner before you get them out.
Yep. Oh. But yeah, so I really haven't had a whole lot of issues. However, do not can in flip flops.
No, no.
Make sure you're canning um in regular, shoes and stuff like that. I canned in flip flops this summer and have dropped hot water on my feet and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I would not let my kids in the kitchen when I was canning. They had to stay on the other side of the island. when they were little, because I'm like, I can drop it. You're going to cause me to drop it by being under my feet. So I'm canning out of the kitchen. That was a strict rule.
Oh, Yosi was letting me know that not all glass is recyclable. I thought it was. That's interesting.
I didn't know that either.
I think what Hedgehog is saying, stuff you recommend to not. I think she's what she's saying. Stuff you not recommend to can.
I did a tomato jam. I personally, it was no, just no. Tomatoes and cinnamon do not go together. No. Sage is one of the herbs that will turn very bitter. I mean, it won't be bitter the first 2 days you've canned it, but if you're trying to keep it on the shelves for 6 months to a year, it will be bitter. You will not be able to stand to eat it. Now, I'm just maybe more sensitive to that than other people, but that is a big no-no for me. Nothing with sage, and I love poultry seasoning in my broth. Nothing with sage. And then I don't know beyond that. I did do pudding. I won't do it again. I did it. I did a video. It was okay at first, but it didn't hold up the test of time. So that's something else I won't can again. So I don't know other than those big three.
Very interesting. I've never had that issue with jars. Never. I mean, if I'm using an older jar, obviously I'm going to inspect it. I mean, at the flea market, I did buy like a couple cases of old Atlas jars. So I do inspect those, you know. I hand wash them really good and run my fingers through them and then inspect the bottoms. That's what I really do, is inspect the bottoms. But for the most part, I've never had any issues.
I'm still using jars that belong to my grandmother, my mother, and 2 of my aunts. And some of those jars I think my grandmother got from her grandmother. So, I mean, I've got jars in my collection that are way older than my mother.
Yeah.
And she had to be about 105 right now if she were still alive. Way older than that.
Question. Long story, but how bad is it to have jars with chili sauce in the light, not in a dark place? Probably 3 weeks. I didn't intend for them not to be put away.
It's not bad per se, but it will change the color. So the light is going to make it a browner sauce rather than a nice, pretty red colored sauce. So it's just going to change the color. It's not going to change anything else. It's just not going to be as appetizing. Strawberries, you put them in the jar and they're beautiful and they're red. And about 2 weeks later, they go from brown to almost no color. It's just, yeah. So some things just don't hold their color.
Yeah. Yeah, the beans that I did those dragon tongue bush beans. I canned some of them. They don't look very good in the jar. No. They didn't hold a color. They look kind of like, they don't look good. I can tell you that.
Wrap it up in a burrito so you don't see it.
Yeah.
They probably still taste really good. It's not that it doesn't affect the taste. It's just going to affect the appetizing, because the presentation. And presentation is a lot of your appetite.
So thank you. So it's not necessarily a safety issue. Not really.
No. Sorry, bouncing around here. I can't get comfortable.
Oh, Yosi said because the recycle process makes the glass more brittle. That's interesting. I didn't know that either. I don't know how.
Is that why, Yosi, they can't recycle window glass? maybe. Is it window glass one of those, maybe?
Yeah. That's interesting. Don't wear your diamond ring when washing the jars. Huh.
Diamond will scratch glass. Well, scratch a lot of things.
Good to see everybody today. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. And yeah.
There's been a lot of controversy in my Facebook group today.
Oh,
Everybody's all riled up. It's kind of nice to come here and have it be a little quiet and not so feather ruffly.
yeah.
So.
Okay, there's another. My aunt has been canning salsa without vinegar for years. I didn't know any better, but I've since read that you have to have vinegar. We did not add more peppers to the recipe yet. I've never heard of that.
Well, that's the whole, are your tomatoes acidic enough? And because they don't know if you're canning yellow pear tomatoes or if you're canning Romas. And so in order to cover their butts, they have to make a blanket statement. Personally, I feel if I am using a canning type tomato that has the proper acid for canning, which canning type tomatoes do, then it's okay for me to do it without the lemon juice or vinegar or added acid. If you're using slicer type tomatoes or fresh eating cherry type tomatoes, then you may want to add the acid. So it really, they just had to make a blanket statement because they're not going to sit there and point out, test every kind of tomato. There's millions of kinds of tomatoes.
Right.
So they just had to do a blanket cover their butt statement.
I just throw citric acid in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been doing. If I don't feel comfortable or if I feel like my tomatoes were yellow and they were just like a mixture of all of them and they had lower acid, I just throw in what the recommended amount of citric acid is. Abby's Life on the Farm said, can you can homemade enchilada sauce?
Yes. Yes,
as long as it's homemade. Like, you gotta be careful too. Like, I've noticed, like, I've been trying things like I wanted to can tacos, or I wanted to actually can my chili. But I used the McCormick seasoning packets, and you have to be really careful because it has like thickening agents in it, and you can't use that when canning. So
yes, there's several good recipes. Ball has a recipe for enchilada sauce. So go take a look at what their recipe is and compare it to yours.
Yes, most places that recycle glass must mix with new glass, and it is usually 90% new. Interesting.
Okay.
We added peppers, however, we wanted which another thing I read saying do not change the pepper quantity. I tell you, my anxiety made this a big issue. Yeah.
It's not that big an issue. It really isn't. You know, I have my own recipe and I use it and I've canned it. I make it 2 ways, with very mild and with a lot of peppers. And I've been doing that for several years and I'm comfortable with it. You just have to get comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, follow a standard recipe until you kind of get comfortable with how you can vary it a little bit.
LP, she decided to reopen all the sealed jars and add a couple cups of vinegar and then reprocessed them all again. Oh my Lord.
Wow. That's a lot of work.
Yes. Ginger Ninja is always positive and uplifting in every chat, and we love her.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, Howie, I've never really had any problems with any jars. Maybe once. I think it's a rarity that people actually have major issues with jars. And it's just been recently that I've actually seen with the newer jars that were coming out that people are saying that they weren't as good as they used to be, stuff like that. And I think it's just because of the way things are and the rush to get them out there
Yes.
could have some issues. Uh, Yeah, I worry about botulism and stuff like that too.
It is so incredibly rare. Like, we talk about it so much, but some years there are 0 cases. I think the most cases there's ever been since the CDC, which is the reporting agency, um, the most they've had is 26 since they started recording the number of cases. And that was all from one instance of somebody who didn't follow the steps.
Yep.
And, you know, she did a big no-no, and she didn't follow all the steps for the process she was using.
Yep.
And she paid a big price. So, follow the recipes, but it's not the way people make it out to be. It's like the food companies. I was on a chat on Facebook, and there are actually people who are paid to go into chats on Facebook and scare people by the big food companies away from home canning. So when you're seeing that, because he was coming back really quick with these links, and I'm like, dude, who do you work for? And when you called him out, he admitted it. And I screenshotted it. So there are actually people who are paid trolls to go in and scare people away from home canning. So, think about that too when you're in some of these groups. Are there motives to help you, or do they want you to buy more processed food from the store?
Yeah. God, that just ticks me off. I wanted to say something else, but
I knew he was wrong, and I was coming right back at him, and then he would try to come back with something else, and I'm like, you had these saved because you can't just come back 1 second after I post something. He was all prepped for this argument instead of having to go look it up, or I'm like, where do you work? And then he told me he worked for a major food manufacturer in the advertising department.
Oh.
Public relations department.
Just like that picture of the canner exploding on the stove, and then the lid is in the ceiling, and the kitchen is destroyed, and
Which
that was
lid?
just another scare tactic.
One lid's in the ceiling and the other one is in the oven. How do you get a lid in the oven with the door open? It was like seriously so staged, and then people are so scared because people have been told that they have to be scared of this because people like to kind of exaggerate experiences. I did that video on what really happens when a canner that has a safety valve in use properly goes over pressure, and that's what happens, not that picture.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they would have to deliberately do something tampering to make that happen, and then it wouldn't happen the way that picture was staged.
Yeah. Bye, Howie. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. I was scared too. It's so easy. It's so easy.
And healthy. The health benefits for your family, not having the fillers and the additives and all that sugar and salt that we don't need.
LP, she said, we're doing applesauce soon. Any tips? I did about 80 pounds of apples. 80 pounds. It was like ridiculous. I don't really. Oh, go ahead.
My tip would be process in small batches if you want a really white looking applesauce. It's going to turn brown over time. What you do when it turns brown over time is throw a teaspoon of cinnamon in right before you serve it and stir it up.
Yep. I mean, all of mine, I put a ton of nutmeg and a ton of cinnamon in anyway, because I really like that. So I put a bunch in there, and watch your headspace. make sure, because if not, like, I called Tammy immediately when I was making it, and I said, "Hey, what do I do here?" I'm like, "With the headspace, it's real thick, or whatever." And she said, "Make sure your headspace is real big because you don't want the applesauce oozing out of your jar. That will happen. So, and it can make your jars rust."
Yes. Yep. And my other tip is to do some in small jelly jars for lunches and for opening up for real quick snacks for kids.
No.
That's the best thing I've ever done. Plus, the little 1 cup or 2 cup sizes are perfect for using it to substitute for fat in your baking recipes. So instead of having to open up a whole quart, have some of those ready, and you can open up just a small jar and dump it in and bake a cake without any oil.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. Brainwashing by stakeholders, and that's not just in the canning industry.
It's in the food industry everywhere.
How are you supposed to clean the apples?
I clean my sink very, very well. I fill it with water and I put my apples in there and I wash them with my sprayer hose. And I just wash them, put them in a bowl, wash them, put them in a bowl.
I didn't want. I mean, I did wash them. I had them soaking in water for a couple of days. And then what I did was I chopped them up, and then we have a apple steamer. And that actually worked out the best. It extracted the juice. So we got the juice out of it, and then we used whatever was inside, and we put that through my strainer, and that made the purest applesauce I think I've ever seen. Um,
And the other thing you can do is save your peelings and your cores and make apple cider vinegar, especially if you have a big batch. So, save some, throw them in a large jar with spring water, not tap water, no chlorine, and cover it with cheesecloth and a rubber band and just let it set there. And when you think it's gross and moldy, that's when it's done. I know it sounds weird, but true. That slime on the top is the mother of vinegar, and that's what you're looking for.
why did you soak them in advance? I soaked them because they were gross. just for my peace of mind, because birds could have shat on them, or my apples were like 100% organic. I don't spray or anything, so I just wanted to make sure that they were clean.
I think applesauce is one of the best things you can have in your home pantry.
Yeah.
There's so many uses for it, and it's incredibly healthy, and you can serve it at just about any meal. You can put some on your oatmeal in the morning. You can have it as a side dish at lunch and a side dish at dinner. It's pretty versatile. The old timers always had it on the table.
Yeah, my mom. She will make anything, and then she's like, "Oh, applesauce." Like that's the side.
It used to be the ketchup of
Mhm.
our elders. Let's be honest. It was what they used. I mean, it was like ketchup. You always had it on the table. You ate everything with it.
Yeah. My mom still does. Hot dogs. Yeah. Oh, side of applesauce. I'm like, okay, mom. My husband thinks that's so weird.
An apple a day, then you know the rest.
Yep. Just plain water then. I'm excited. My mom serves applesauce with pork. Yeah, that would be good because of the sweetness. Mm-hmm.
I love apple butter on my pork chops, and then you bake them with the apple butter and it gets all crispy, crunchy. Like that
Oh,
crust.
I didn't think about that.
Oh, very good. My second favorite way to do pork chops.
Yeah, they make a special soap for fruits and vegetables here to fit something or another. I've never used it.
I know someone who just taught everybody with a video how to make your own for pennies. You go check out my channel. It's you would be amazed. It's 3 ingredients and takes 2 minutes, and you probably have everything in your house right now to make it, as opposed to paying $6 for a pint.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. However, when my dad was going through chemotherapy and stuff like that, he had to be very, very, very careful with fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. So they bought that just so to wash them to make sure they're clean because his immune system was low. So if there
Yeah.
was anything on the fruits or vegetables or something, it could make him sick. So
Yep. And if you use the fruit and vegetable wash, your produce will stay fresher longer.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Nothing worse than, like, I bought blackberries at the grocery store. I got them 50 cents a carton. I wanted to make blackberry jam with them. And I picked through them to make sure I got the best looking ones. And my friend forgot to put hers in the fridge, and the next day she had fuzz growing on some of hers.
Yeah.
That fruit and vegetable spray is important. Saves you money.
I've had that happen to me actually with mine. I accidentally left them on the counter and they were fuzzy the next day.
Yep.
Graham crackers in applesauce. That's interesting.
I wouldn't can it that way, but I'd certainly eat it that way when I opened it up.
My fridge kills my food.
Fair enough.
That's the truth. Mine does too. I forget what that spray is called. It's called Fit. I've seen it. They actually sell it with the fruits and vegetables. That they put it in a basket next to the apples or something. It's called Fit something or another.
It's on the end cap in my produce section at both the major grocery stores here. It's basically distilled water, vinegar, and lemon juice. That's it. You're paying for the distilled water is the major ingredient. Just so you know.
LP says thoughts on canning on Glasstop range. I need a new electric range. You have to read your manufacturer for your stove.
And
Everyone
you can't put a big canner on. So if you're used to doing the double stackers, that isn't going to happen. And you have to make sure that your canner bottom is the kind that you can use with that glass top. I did it for years and had no problems. Dropped a bottle of balsamic vinegar from the upper cabinet that was not even a foot up and shattered my glass stove. So it's just a hit and miss. Those, I don't like those personally. I would get a gas stove. If I had the choice every time, I'd get a gas stove.
Yeah. Hedgehog, Tammy said she made a video on it, so if you want to go over there and check it out, she made a video on how to make it. But yeah, I was really scared about canning on top of my glass stove, and then I went online and found the manufacturer thing, and they said yes, you can do it as long as your canner doesn't reach over top the actual rings on the stove, as long as it's within that range. And mine was, and so therefore, I could do it. But I've seen horror stories where people tried to can and their canner went right through the stove. I hate those glass top ranges. I hate them, but that's now the only thing you can buy.
Yeah, I won't have one. I won't have one.
Hey Q, thanks for coming in. But yeah, that's like the only thing you can buy. I mean, if you want an electric one, that's fine, but it's not going to match anything in your kitchen. It's going to look odd because the ones that they have right now is just like plain Jane electric stove. It's not like, it doesn't have, unless you get a gas one, which eventually that's what we're going to switch to, is a propane gas stove. That's what I want, because if the power goes out or something like that, then you can always use it. But, you know, until then I have a glass top stove. So, you gotta be careful with those. And my mom has one and she hates hers. She hates it. But she didn't have a choice. Hers went out. Her other one that she had went out. The thing that really bothers her the most is the top portion of it is not, it's black. So anything you spill on the stove or anything like that will show a mark. Her other one was like speckled. So it was like camouflage, you know?
You have to pre-treat them too, and they don't tell you that. There is a glass pre-treatner that you have to put on it. And if you don't, which when I replaced mine, I did not know that. And I did a do-it-yourselfer. And it did not get pre-treated. And it was a gooey mess every time I cooked something. I could not wipe it off. So that's another tip. Make sure you get that pre-treatner and get it on there, especially if you're doing it yourself, or make sure that whoever's installing it knows they have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom did that. And so, yeah, it's just frustrating that with her, because she likes to keep it clean and she feels like she can't because it's black. And like, yeah, I told her, I'm like, yeah, I boil over water and it makes a mark on my stove. And she's like, really? She didn't get it. She bought the stove. She boiled over water, or had a couple splatters, and she's like, it leaves these brand marks. And I'm like, yep, I told you.
It's every mineral. Yep.
I finally have a reason to can water. Yep.
Yes.
I just saw that I have a new electric stoves with newer coils. Yes, that's the ones I'm talking about. They have electric stoves and they're fine. But they don't have them in stainless steel. They don't have them in like, it's just a plain Jane stove. It won't match anything in your kitchen. And so
make sure too that you have the D ring. If you're using an electric stove, make sure you have the burner with the D ring for canning. There is a specific burner that you need for canning on an electric coil stove. So if it's not a glass top, it's the old electric coil, you have to have a D burner, and it's a specific burner that you can buy.
Yep. And what time do you have to pick up your son now, or what's going on?
I don't, but Becca would like her bedroom back so she could put the little guy she's babysitting down to sleep in here.
I understand. So we're going to end the chat, guys. I want to thank you guys for coming in. Sorry for all the technical difficulties that we've had. But we'll be back on track next Friday. Thanks for being here. If you have any other questions or whatever, you can either message Tammy. Her email address is actually in the description of this chat, so you can always message her. You can always message me, and if I don't know the answer, I'll ask Tammy. And then we'll do another questions and answers. Hopefully we'll have some more tips and stuff next Friday for you. And we will see you all next time on the Blue Ribbon Canner Show. We'll see you next time. Bye.